From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work. We will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims. Hello, Bullhorn Betty. I haven't been here in days. It's nice to see everybody this beautiful morning. This particular live is sponsored by our subscribers here on TikTok. I just wanted to get back to the routine of our first live in the morning now that I'm back from Tennessee. We did quite a lot here in Tennessee. When I was there, I literally followed the steps where they went. We went to the Stafford Court property where Sebastian Rogers disappeared. We went to the Bowersox property, which is the grandparents and Chris Proudfoot's mom and stepfather. I went out to the Children's Hospital, St. Jude's, to preview the construction project and get a lay of the land and speak to some people related to that. And so it was a very eventful trip. And moreover, we also did a 1-year milestone for Layla Santinello. For those that are unfamiliar with the Layla Santinello case, Jen Santinello is well known here on TikTok for her avocation for her daughter, the safe return of her daughter. Her daughter hasn't been seen in over a year. And also changing and turning some focus on other missing people and trying to help in their cases as well. She's a beautiful soul, and this is a milestone that no mother should have ever had to go through. This is Sebastian Rogers. He's a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee on February 26, 2024. And from that point on, nothing has made sense in this case since the beginning. The parents, the mother and the stepfather's story fall flat of what we feel is the truth. The changes in the stories, no parent should have to change their story. We are listening to Miss Bobby. Miss Bobby is one of the neighbors out there, and she went on, a content creator on YouTube, to express what she saw, what she witnessed, what she heard from other neighbors. And those things were a little bit alarming. For example, it was stated at the beginning, boots on the ground, at 7 a.m. when this child disappeared, that Katie was in the kitchen at 11:30, and that's when she heard the thud. Apparently, Sebastian was still up at 11:30, and that was at 7 o'clock in the morning that he was reported missing. Somehow along the line, that story has changed quite significantly. The story has changed from him being up at 11:30, her being in the kitchen and hearing a thud, and Sebastian being the one to tell his mother to go to bed, to him going to bed at 9, the thud being heard at 10:30, and of course Katie going to bed and being asleep, obviously, at midnight. Quite the different stories. The story, if you start watching all the interviews, you see the major changes in the timeline and in the story from one interview to the other. So we don't believe anything when it comes to what they say happened inside that home. What we know for a fact is Sebastian Rogers was inside that home with his mother. Everything else is is up for speculation because we can't get a straight answer. Now, we do know, because it's been corroborated, that there was a significant phone call that came in from Katie around 9:43 to 9:46 to Christopher Proudfoot while he was allegedly in Memphis at the Yogi Bear campground getting ready to go to sleep, retire for the evening because he had to be up and at work. A lot of things just don't make sense when it comes to Chris's story. He was very hesitant on telling the world where he was. It sounded like, for the most part, he was not in the area. He was 3.5 hours away and everything like that. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Let me just take a little breather, a little break. I want to show you a new addition to the Bullhorn Betty family. There's Delilah. There's our beautiful Delilah, our new mascot for the Bullhorn Betty channel. She is absolutely adorable. She is my new BFF, and she has stolen my heart. Okay, now that we're done with that, that's the intro. That's the intro. She is adorable. And she's over there playing. She's very rambunctious this morning. Yesterday, she slept literally all day. I guess it was a little too much for her. And this morning, since about, 3:30, she just wants to say, hey, yay. So getting back to Sebastian, Chris's story didn't make sense. So I decided it's time to challenge the story because there was rumors that were circulating that he was at work at 5:15. I think those were rumors that were initially and intentionally circulating to put cloud on the timing. I went out there. There are no crane workers that are operating at 5:15 in the morning, period. No crane operating, very limited crew. So limited that I truly believe if he had walked into that job site at that time of morning that he would have been noticed because there was not really a whole lot of people. There are people there and there is a gate open, and him being on the job site as long as he's been, he would know all this. He would know every bit of this. So I absolutely believe that rumor was thrown in, and that may change depending on new information. But based on the information I acquired, I believe that was thrown in to throw cloud on his timeline as a rumor, for people to, be baited into this rumor. Now, I could be completely wrong, but from where everybody that I spoke to, everything that I saw, there is no possibility of him being there at 5:15 in the morning. They said that those crews don't even get there that early. So I would assume that they would get there about, the earliest I can imagine is 6:15, but most of them come in around 6:30. They're 6:30 to 6:45, and they're on the cranes they start walking up the cranes when they clock in at 7. It takes a little while to get to the top. And when they get to the top, they have to, that's when they start. So if you guys notice, there's a shaft that goes down. That shaft has to be climbed by the operator of that crane. So it takes quite a while to get up there. I mean, if you look at it, every platform's about 20 feet. You can say a 2-story house is a lot shorter than 2 feet. So you're talking about 15 2-story houses the man has to climb up to get seated in that crane. So his story never made sense. We believe that in that one, I don't know if I have it. I've got a lot of stuff on my phone since then, so it's probably buried a little bit. Oh no, it's actually right here. We had lights. This is the lights. Right here is the front lights. Let me see if I can get a better view of that. There it is. And there's the back of a vehicle. Now, when I was on this trip, what I found funny is, one, I was threatened by a content creator on YouTube with bodily injury. And then Chris Proudfoot called into that content creator's show under a disguised voice, but you could tell it was Chris. And he basically told me if I was in the road, he was going to run me over jokingly. Again, a threat that he's trying to pass off as a joke. Then when I get there, because I posted flyers in the community, and I posted quite a few flyers all the way from Gallatin into Hendersonville, 250 flyers to be exact, and we peppered them all the way from the backcountry woods of Gallatin into and around Sebastian's home and school. Terry Bowersox. Now, mind you, the family can't go out and look for this boy. They can't put not one stitch of effort into hunting down or searching for Sebastian Rogers. But, Mr. Bowersox, Terry Bowersox, has all the time in the world to track me down while I'm doing research on him and his family, predominantly his stepson, Christopher Proudfoot, and decides to hunt me down. Hunt me down. Here's the back end of his car. The reason why I got the back end of his car is because I'm absolutely 100. That's my shirt, honey. I'm absolutely 100% sure that this is the back end of the car that you just, the shadow that we just saw. That shadow has been there. We superimposed a QX80 on the back of this, and it fits like a glove right here. And when Terry Bowersox decided to track me down, which I did capture it, it's on video here. I posted that. I also just posted a video about the jail and the purpose of me being there. So I hope you guys watch those. But I did just drop a pretty interesting, about a 32-minute video. A little bump on your head, little girl. I got a 32-minute video on YouTube that kind of goes over my trip. So if you guys have not seen it, or you'd like to see it, or you'd like to have a just an overview of the trip, it's about 6 days, kind of smushed into a 30-minute video. But I thought it was really interesting. I got a lot of good feedback on it from YouTube. So you guys might be interested in listening to that and going through the journey with me as we were uncovering some information. So I think we can take the fact that Chris was at work at 5:15 off the table. I don't believe that is the case. I definitely find it highly suspect that I am being tracked down and literally stalked. He followed me for like 30 minutes when we went back toward videos and started monitoring when we started seeing Terry Bowersox. So he was stalking me. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about whether he was following me around. And then he wanted to pull up. Now, mind you, Chris and Katie have my information. There's no reason for them to take my tag number. If they wanted it, they've got a way to access to me, immediate access to me. And they can always call and get that information, say if they want to sue me for some reason, right? I don't bow down to lawsuits or anything like that. It's a legal process, and I'll go through it. I have no problem with it. So if they were to call me and say, hey, we need your address, we're going to serve you with a complaint, I'm not going to say, oh, you got to find me. I'd give them my address and say, okay, I'll see you soon. So this idea that they needed to take my license plate, it was not necessary, is what I'm pointing out. It wasn't necessary, and it was done as an act of intimidation. The problem is that they don't understand is I should have been gone a long time ago off this earth. There's a reason why I'm walking this earth. And, the life that I lived was pretty bad, and it could have done a lot of damage, and it did a lot of damage to me. So I don't really worry too much. I'm not really very intimidated too much. Excuse me, guys. She's getting into everything. I'm not intimidated. So I don't think that they're expecting that. They're expecting a young, I'm a tiny little thing. I'm only 5'1", about a $135, $140, total. And so, I'm not like a stick that can be blown over. I got a little meat to the bone, but I am a tiny little thing. And so that is my finger, dear. Here. Ow. Here, chew on that. Good gracious. I think they were trying to intimidate me. Well, he didn't get what he wanted because he got stopped at a stoplight, and I got out of the car and filmed him. And he's basically saying, oh, I need to prove that they're stalking and harassing me. Like, what did he think I was doing? I was literally on a live telling the world how I've been threatened since I've been there from his very family as he's pulling up, intimidating me. It was the most insane thing I had ever seen in my life. You would not believe it. I mean, it literally is unbelievable in my opinion. Chris and Katie have a lot of explaining to do. They just do. What they have stated does not make sense. This right here, I truly believe it was Kathy Bowersock's vehicle on the outside of that house in that shadow. Absolutely, without a doubt. And we've been wanting to know where, what, how, why, when, who. I think it's all of them. I think Katie lost her stuff. Or, you know what? The premeditation aspect of this is kind of, rearing its ugly head. Because Seth and Katie were married 8 years. Sebastian disappeared literally on the 8-year anniversary that she filed for divorce. She filed for divorce February 26, 2016, and this child disappeared on February 26, 2024. These things are a little odd for me. Many people said, talked up front, that was a really eventful day. Why'd she do so much with her son, knowing that he has autism and this was, this, that, and the other. Many people thought about that. Many people had stated that they felt like this was the best day. This was his last supper, this last meal, Was it? We don't know. I mean, it was all people's opinions nonetheless, but still. Why was the day, so eventful? I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. But I can tell you that when we went out there were several things that we needed to know. We have now officially identified some areas for our next trip for searching. There's one area that I'm sorry, I think it is the area. And I don't think it's been thoroughly searched, in my opinion. I don't think it could it could have possibly been thoroughly searched. It's too big. And I haven't seen or heard anybody out there in numbers to search that area. It's really starting to bug me with law enforcement because we're going on 5 months and we don't have a stick of forensics done from the house. We've got a child missing under suspicious circumstances. We've got lighting events going on inside the house, lighting events going on outside of the house in wee hours of morning when nobody should be up. I've went out there, I've looked at it, I was bouncing back. Could they have gone to the neighbors? Could they have not? And there is one specific shot that I got and I reviewed yesterday, and I know for a fact that whatever light source they went back to the Proudfoot home. The Proudfoot home. I know that for a fact. There's one shot I analyzed and overanalyzed and analyzed again, and when I looked at that light source, the one that was heading back, I could clearly see it going toward the Proudfoot home. It had already bypassed the neighbor's house. It had already bypassed the corner of the neighbor's house. That's why it was so faint and it was flickering. So I truly believe that those lights were going to the Proudfoot home, and I do believe that vehicle in the shadow of that vehicle was the Bowersock's vehicle. So now we have Proudfoot and Bowersock's involvement, in my opinion. The way that I'm looking at this, that is the only correct analysis of this. The vehicle fits like a glove. I seen it in person when Terry was stalking me. And I believe more now than ever that was the outline of the vehicle that we see. So I'd like people to go over there, check out the video. Again, it's on my YouTube channel, Bullhorn Betty. It's in the video sections. It'll say the trip on it. You can't miss it. And I hope you guys do enjoy it. It's about 30 minutes long, like I said. And I'm going to be back here a little more today. We've got a lot of stuff to cover now that I'm back at the office. And we've got to get kind of caught up. I've got a lot of emails that I have not had an opportunity to review. If you guys have a theory, a plausible theory on where Sebastian could be, please send that to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. It is very important that we look at all options here. I found a few areas that are very, very interesting for me that I definitely want to get into. I've got to find out how, because everything's so crazy in this town, because I'm starting to feel like there is, we've been hearing that there is a level of corruption in Sumner County, that the officers, I can tell you right now, officers do not understand certain laws. They need to be retrained. Just in my personal conduct, coming into contact with them, I can tell that they're not, that they're nice people, don't get me wrong, but they're not well trained. and they're not well trained on proper procedure, which is a problem for me. And I think that there needs to be some type of that may be one of the problems. I don't want to say they're corrupt. I would say lack of training, and the lack of training allows people to get away with stuff that they don't normally or wouldn't normally get away with in other areas. I can tell you people there are not like here. Our law enforcement is like literally trained on the statutes, and not only trained on the statute, but trained how to read and understand them. So when they're out in the field and something comes up, they actually go and refer to the law. It's funny because, and this comes back to my swatting incident that happened here at the house. And when I was working with law enforcement trying to, get something done, we went through the statutes. I was on the phone with the cop for like an hour going through the Florida statutes trying to find out what would match for this. So this idea that they don't do, they do. And this is one thing I don't see law enforcement in Tennessee doing. This is something that we train our law enforcement to understand and comprehend and know where to find it when they're out in the field. So this is, I just have, differences. I just think that we all need to be, all this stuff needs to be streamlined. Yes. And for those that are just joining in, if you guys want to know what's going on, this is the newest mascot of the Bullhorn Betty channel. This is Delilah Bullhorn. She is absolutely perfect. And she's going to be my new BFF. And she's so cute. So cute. Oh, I just love her to death. Delilah meet World. World meet Delilah. Delilah Bullhorn. She is, I don't know, 2 ounces. She's a girl. She's a girl with 4 paws and 2 eyes and 2 cute ears. And she likes to chew on everything. And I am going nuts. And she likes to wake me up in the middle of the night. And I like, I'm half asleep and I'm like, she's up. So I'm getting my shoes off. Like, she ain't being in the bed, So, puppies, if they start waking up, you got to take them right out. So I don't know what time it was this morning. All I know is as soon as I realized she's nuzzling around my neck, I'm like, she's up. I checked the bed to make sure there's no pee in it. And I picked her ass up and I took her outside. And so we've only had so far one small little accident in the house, and I think that that's good. And that's this morning, and it kind of upset me because it was literally 2 seconds after she went out and peed. So next time I'm going to make her stay out there a little bit longer. Just saying. It's a learning curve. But now she must be tuckered because she has been literally playing nonstop for 4 hours. I have become her chew toy. It's quite the experience. So guys, I just wanted to tell you, and I'm starting to get little, look at that. She's just chewing me up. So I'm not going to bend your ear too long. I just wanted to tell you the trip went well. I don't want to rehatch or go over all of the stuff that we did on the trip. If you're really interested in it, like I said, I dropped a 30-minute video. I think you'll like it. I've given you daytime perspectives as well as nighttime perspectives. You guys got to see the lay of the land. You got to see Hendersonville. You got to see Gallatin. We went through a lot of information that was packed into that 30 minutes. So I hope you guys get over there, check that out. And I just dropped yesterday a video related to the jail. It looks like it's doing pretty good, but if you guys haven't seen that yet, you might want to check that out, and that's just here on TikTok. So I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Don't forget, this was sponsored by our subscribers here on TikTok. They have been sponsoring our morning lives for the last, I think, 4 months. And so I just want to make sure that you guys thank the people that are subscribed to this channel over here for providing this for you. I hope to see you soon. We will be rocking it out with our coffee beans out and have some new updates coming for you related to the Sebastian Rogers case, as well as other true crime cases going on today. God bless.